Police in Eastern Australia are investigating the death of a 19-year-old Canadian woman. Global Affairs Canada also confirms it's aware of the death and are providing consular assistance to the family. It happened on the island of Gary, formerly called Fraser Island. The woman had reportedly told friends she was going for a swim at around 5 in the morning, and at about 6:35 local time, two men driving by the beach found the body of a woman surrounded by a pack of dingoes, wild dogs. Investigators haven't confirmed a cause of death, but they say there are bite marks on the woman's body. Reports say there hasn't been a fatal dingo attack on the island in more than 2 decades. Rachel Baxter has been following the story for 7 Network in Australia, and she joins us now live from Rainbow Beach. Thank you very much for speaking with us. What are authorities saying about what's happened here?
Thanks for having me, Ian. It's great to be with your show. Yeah, it's really complicated at the moment. Unfortunately, there's still, I guess, more questions than answers. As you said, she was discovered yesterday morning on the eastern side of Gary, formerly known as Fraser Island, here in Queensland, Australia. I'm currently at Rainbow Beach, so it's just across the way from me here, about an hour on the barge. She was found at around 6:30 by some passerbyers driving in a 4-wheel drive. They saw a pack of dingoes, and on closer inspection, sadly, they made that gruesome discovery that her body was there. Now, what's confusing investigators at the moment is they're not quite sure whether she drowned or whether she was in fact attacked by dingoes. We do, of course, have a history of dingo attacks here on Gary, but as you said, that there hasn't been a death in a very, very long time. So investigators were on the island yesterday, taking statements from witnesses, taking statements from friends, where the girl was staying at a campsite only a few hundred metres from where her body was found. And now they're going to try and piece together exactly what happened. But the main thing that they want to do, obviously, is to do an autopsy into figuring out how this all happened. And that will be when we find the real answers, Ian.
We're not reporting the name of the young Canadian woman who died, but what can you tell me about her?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that she was 19 years old, as you say, from Canada. She was here on a working holiday, and we know that she'd been here for about 6 weeks. She was working for a tour company, which was based here where I am at the moment on Rainbow Beach, and it would offer 2 to 3 day tours on the island and take other backpackers, other tourists over and camp there, take people on 4-wheel drive tours, going swimming. So there was, a lot that she was doing here. And I know that she was also here with a friend from Canada, and they were obviously on a trip of a lifetime, which has, of course, just ended so tragically here yesterday morning.
And finally, how are people in that area and more generally in Australia reacting to this story?
Oh, it's just awful, very traumatic for everybody. I spoke to multiple tourism operators on the island yesterday and some more today, as well as some of her fellow co-workers at the backpackers based here at Rainbow Beach. And everybody is just absolutely devastated, as you can imagine, as well for her family, who only found out the middle of the day yesterday, Australian time, what had happened, having to go through the process through the Canadian consulate based in Sydney, and trying to get as much information as they can across international waters must be really difficult for them. So it's certainly been a really difficult time. A lot of people are also talking about the dingoes and obviously not wanting to make assumptions that it was in fact a dingo attack. We don't have that information. It is a very controversial topic on Gary. What I can tell you, though, is that rangers have been out on patrol in larger numbers than usual. The government's up to patrols on the island, and they've also been installing dingo danger signs just to remind people that they shouldn't be feeding the dingoes. One thing I should mention as well, Ian, is the weather conditions here. It's generally not recommended to swim on the beaches at Fraser Island, particularly on the eastern beach where that 19-year-old was swimming. And yesterday, particularly, our Weather Bureau had a severe wind warning for the area. So, I mean, that also must come into account when police and forensics are doing their investigations.
It's really nice having your perspective on this story, because really we've only had sort of 3 or 4 sentences of the headlines here, Rachel. Rachel Baxter following the story for 7 Network in Australia. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ian.